What are we? When does the sun come up nowadays? 7:37.
I don't know, man.
Last Wednesday
I'm
didn't come
gonna
up till 12.
Maybe I'm on I know I'm in the minority here, but I kind of
Actually,
do
I
like
am.
it when it's light. I mean, I technically.
I shouldn't laugh.
But it's
Why
true.
was I laughing? I'm a terrible person.
Because
Why
you
was
and I have the same sense of humor. That's why.
I mean,
Exact same damn sense of humor.
I am technically
Be careful,
too. I am
Jimmy.
50%. Anyway, in the minority. I like it when it's light out earlier. I'm not a big fan of it being light out at 7:45 in the morning or 7:30 in the morning. I kind of
Most
like it
people aren't.
when it's 6:45 and the light comes up. No, because
Wait
some
till
people are
summer.
like,
It'll be
but
daytime
some people are
already.
like, oh my God, I would much rather it be lighter for longer, which is why we got to stop daylight savings or all that stuff. And I get the sentiment, but at the same time, I hate that it's almost 7:00 and it's basically pitch black out there.
It's
Not a
not
fan of
snowing. Be a gorgeous day.
Oh,
65.
you'll enjoy it when it starts to warm up.
Mhm.
I know.
You can hear the birds this morning when I got out of the car. and
Did
walked in the
you?
studio.
Wow.
We're getting there.
Tides are turning.
We're healing.
Mhm.
We're
It
healing.
is spring, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
You hear the
officially,
sneezing
it's
in this
officially-
building. It's spring.
Hey,
I mean, you see me sniffling over the microphone.
I'm back on an extended stay, so it won't snow. Because
Yeah.
every time it has snowed like a lot in this town, I've
That's
been
true.
gone on road
You
trips.
really have.
Yeah.
The biggest
That's a
the
flex.
biggest snow days or worst just weather days in general have been when you are on the road and we are over Zoom. I mean, that has happened,
Yeah.
I think, 4 times. Not a joke. So don't
I'm the-
go anywhere.
I'm the weather
and let's not
whisperer.
have any show, by the way, proclaim that snow is over or winter is done or anything like that. Okay?
The listeners know what's coming.
Because anytime we have a show on this station that proclaims that, it ends up happening.
What show is that?
The one that goes from 2 to 6.
They got a name?
I'm usually napping at that time.
I mean, Josh Peterson just says that it's not going to snow, and then it snows. Just for our sake, Josh, don't say it.
He's going to say it.
I think he's over that, right? Like he's over that.
I hope he is. I really hope he is. But it just takes one whisper of the mouth to be like, it's no longer going to snow, and then it'll snow.
That's a little sprinkled there, a little bit of that budding rivalry
Mhm.
between
I
you
know.
and Josh.
Okay, can we just throw this out here?
This would be a great 7-game series.
How many
Bulls,
budding
Pistons.
rivalries do I have? I have a rivalry with Happer. Now I have a budding rivalry with Peterson. Now I just need to get a budding rivalry with Bishop and then piss you off, and then I have all the Infinity Stones.
You and
Then
Happer hug.
in less than 8 months, I've accomplished what nobody in
Yeah.
Omaha and Lincoln has been able to do, which is make everybody at 1620 The Zone mad at you all at once.
And then you walk outside of the studio and it's the same. Coincidence?
You ain't wrong.
I
Coincidence?
think not.
Coincidence?
I make myself hireable.
Oh, hireable.
Oh,
Hireable.
You're going to be driving that bread truck back in Chicago and hang around your mom a little bit more.
We will keep going on mother-son dances and having a great time. She
Wow.
can do my laundry
Yeah,
and make
yeah.
me food, and I will sit back and relax. And,
And
be
she
a
is
bum.
she is a wonderful woman.
She is a wonderful.
Do you have an
Um,
extra room? They sound great. I'm a big fan of your parents, and I've never met them.
It's a queen size bed.
A
It's actually
texter wants to
great bed.
know
Such a good bed,
whatever.
and it's way better than the one I sleep on. What I would do to move my bed in Chicago into my current apartment, I would move mountains to do that.
People are wondering if the mother-son dance is a code for prom. Could you
No.
not get a date for the prom? That
No,
was from a
well, my
texter.
prom got canceled, guys. What was supposed to be the most fun time of my life and a memory that I would never forget.
That does.
Wink. Yeah.
I had a girlfriend at the time.
Ooh, that sucks even more.
Yeah, had a girlfriend. We were dating. It's the only girlfriend I've ever had.
Maybe they
And,
will when you have your
This sounds like a rom
Say
com.
it. Say it.
your
Say it.
5-year class reunion. Have you
Have
had that yet?
No,
This year?
It doesn't start till 10.
Oh, okay. So maybe your 10-year they'll turn into a prom.
I mean,
Hey, that's
I
a
think
great
they're-
idea,
I think
actually.
maybe they're over it. Probably. I don't think they really didn't give a damn after us after we graduated. If we're being quite honest.
We are getting close to prom season. We're also getting close to the media loves to be miserable. By the way, you're waking up this morning. Juju Watkins tore ACL last night. If you're watching the USC Mississippi State game, that is just
Sadly,
horrible
that's not a
news for her, for USC, and for the women's tournament. But I wonder, Stephen A. Smith, what he'll say today. Does anybody care what Stephen A. Smith says about college basketball? He went on this rant yesterday about
anything.
college basketball is in trouble because the Cinderellas are going away. I'm wondering out there, and by the way, I don't love to be miserable. I want to be excited. I can't wait for the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight because we got some banger of matchups.
We do.
Okay, this is a one-off. This is a one-off on the Cinderella. But Stephen A. Smith, who probably, what do you think the average? What do you think the total of college basketball games from start to finish he watches during the course of a year?
Start to finish?
Start to finish.
0.1. Because his remote got stuck.
I don't think there was one game that Stephen A. Smith turned on this year and watched all the way through.
I would I'll say maybe 2.
Maybe
like a St. John's.
Maybe if he was
When
forced
did Coach
to
K
be
retire?
there. Maybe if he was forced, like if it was a Duke, North Carolina, and they had him be there, or like it was a game day and he had to be there. Maybe not. I got a question for you in general. Stephen A. Smith is so much about Stephen A. Smith nowadays and his vision and his, and now he's in politics and he's on Fox News and he's on with Hannity and he's always talking about his relationship with players. Like what validity does Stephen A. Smith have? Like, what sport is his sport nowadays? Because he doesn't even, barely even talks
the
NBA, but he doesn't even talk about the best things or the top things or the most
because
important things.
that does not get the
in
attention
the NBA. I know,
so,
but it's just.
By the way, their rivalry, him and McAfee, LeBron's going to be on McAfee. LeBron hardly does any national stuff.
Never.
LeBron's going to be on McAfee. Interesting. But so Stephen A. Smith is entitled to his opinion, and ESPN pays him a lot of money to give his opinion. But it turned into a dumpster fire yesterday after his comments on his show. He hasn't watched. He is the guy or gal that show up in March. No offense. Hey, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
You show up in March, you fill out a bracket, and all of a sudden you become a college basketball fan. That's fine.
Become a college basketball expert.
But don't tell me about the sport when you've hardly watched any games.
Yeah.
And the thing that I can't take serious about his comment about the Cinderellas, how it's going to ruin the sport, is every time he talks about college basketball, he looks at it through the lens of an NBA draft pick. So who cares? Like, people got way too wound up yesterday. If you love the tournament, you love the tournament. If you know about Cinderellas, this is a rare year.
Yes.
Last year we had Cinderellas. Well, we had the year before. We were not very far removed from Florida Atlantic and San Diego State. You know what? Did you stop watching because there weren't upsets this weekend? I'm guessing not. You continued to watch, even though maybe the first 2 days were like, you watched on Saturday, and you know what? You got delivered on Sunday. Did you stop watching because there weren't upsets? And if you did, or you didn't, you know what? You can vote with your remote. But the sport is not in trouble because we don't have Cinderellas in March.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I agree with the whole one-off. And let's get granular here. Robert Morris was damn near close to doing it, okay? UC San Diego and Michigan was one really, really close game. Yale was in striking distance of Texas A&M for a lot of that contest. You go back to Drake and Texas Tech, an 11 versus 3. That was a super competitive game until Tech had that final run to take off. So it's not like these top seeds are blowing out all of these mid-major champions or anything like that. It's still competitive basketball.
Yeah,
but
this isn't women's basketball where you have blowout after blowout, and the only teams that win are in top 4 seeds and above.
Colorado State would be considered our Cinderella. They got beat by a buzzer beater, which was an incredible shot by Derek Queen. I do want to throw this out to you, though.
Not a travel.
And it's a gather in
They're
two
never
steps.
going to call it.
Yeah, it's a gather in 2 steps. They're never going to call it. Hey, you talked a little bit yesterday about how much have you heard about NIL? Have you heard about recognizing about NIL? Oh my God, they're talking a lot about NIL and the transfer portal and all these other aspects that don't have to do with basketball. But I want you to just kind of think back to this weekend. How many times did you hear this sentence? This mid-major team, they've been playing together for 3 years. I mean, this is a team that has a lot of experience. They won their conference last year. They made the NCAA tournament last season. They gave this team one heck of a run, but now they're back with the same head coach who's been there for 8 years, and this team who's played a lot of basketball together is ready to make that Cinderella run. I don't remember hearing that sentence. And that's not like a cliche that you hear 3 times a year in the past, but it is a sentence that we have commonly heard in tournaments of yesteryear. And there is a little bit of concern for me of the fact that, okay, I agree with you. This is a one-off and this is one of these, it just happens, right? But there is a little bit of an argument to be made that these guys in these mid-majors who used to stick together, who used to be all conference guys, who used to come back to the same team next year, are now going to Power 5 teams and going to better teams and building up the depth. There is some substance there.
There is a gap. So back to the Cinderella thing. This is a one-year trend. And we use the word Cinderella one time. Not get that? Not like that song?
No. Sorry.
You might be ill. Either you may have just exposed that you actually might be ill.
I actually am ill. I'm not exposing anything.
But aren't Cinderellas supposed to be rare, not the norm?
Yes. Well, also too, we act as if we have 5 Cinderellas a year. It's only one team a year that really makes a deep run. 2 teams at best.
Hey, homie, don't want no Cinderellas in the next round. I want teams that give me banger of games. I don't want great matchups.
And that's the frustrating thing too.
Same with our Final
that
Four.
We're going to turn on ESPN next week, and we're going to be like, oh my God, what a weekend! That was incredible. The best teams going at it. That was one of the best Sweet 16s and Elite 8 combos I've ever seen in my life.
So why are they talking about LeBron?
And then we're going to act like we weren't talking about the death of college basketball a week before.
I like the best teams playing. That's why I love the college football. We're not going to get a Cinderella in college football. I want the best teams playing. And I like the best teams playing. Would I like an upset or two? Yes. And we actually had a couple of upsets.
Yes.
But Cinderellas are rare. They're not the norm. It's a one-year trend. Let's check back next year. But from the Power 5, which treats mid-major like AAA, the gap is growing. And something you brought up is absolutely spot on about continuity. Is one of the things that helped Omaha is they had some day one, they had 4 core guys. So that had been here for 3 years. That continuity is going to get less and less because, like in the Summit League, and it was a busy day yesterday in the Summit League for guys going into the portal, is if you achieve success, probably 80% of the time, you're going to be courted to go somewhere else. So the continuity is the thing that I would be really worried about. Mm-hmm. But I'm sick and tired. You know, there's a lot of things that are wrong with college athletics. And there are a lot of things that are great about college athletics. And we have to navigate these choppy waters. But you know what? As fans, we have more of an emotional attachment to our college teams than our pro teams in most cases. Okay? Because we went to school there.
Yes.
That's who you grew up with. Your parents, that's where they went to school. So all you've known is GBR or Roll Damn Jays or March Madness. Everybody says, well, it's the death. It's the death. Were the college football playoff ratings bangers?
They're pretty good.
Okay. Were the NCAA first and second round ratings bangers?
Always is. Always are.
You know what? I'm guessing, though, if you're going to put a toe tag on something, they usually don't have good ratings. So stop with this. It's going to be the death. People, we change. We adjust. We don't like it. You know what? And I don't like college football between February and the first part of August. But when we get to the games, we get back what makes college football so special in a college environment. And the sport isn't dying. The sport actually on the field and how the game is played has probably never been played as well as it's being played now. The other stuff that's going on, yeah, that's rough. But you know what? We've adjusted and we've moved on and we've accepted some things. We fought back against some things. But the sport of college football and the sport of college basketball is not dying.
I think, though, you also have to factor in here, though, with these people who may not be diehard college basketball fans. And by the way, I'm not going to sit up on top of here and act as if I'm one of them.
Grab a bracket. Welcome to the show.
But
don't tell me
you are. But you are messing. But there are.
Don't tell me everything about my sport.
But there are. But there are memories that these people have. They do watch these basketball games. They do enjoy the sport, and they go down. They sit down, and they have these incredible memories of these bigger seeds, these Davids beating these Goliaths, right? And they relate.
You were right there last year. We had Oakland,
and
right?
even though,
Kentucky.
yes, but even though that they might not be the biggest college basketball fans, some of their favorite sport memories in general is when this top seed beat this lower seed. Okay, and that the prospect of that not being a regular occurrence, the idea that might be weeded out of this game, which is probably their most favorite thing they like about the game, definitely is threatening to them, okay? And that's why they react in the way that they do. And I really don't blame them in acting that way. But what I do blame them is them not being fully educated in the fact that, hey, this is actually like what we've been trending toward the entire year. This is what we've kind of expected. We were calling back in December, hey, these 4 seeds or these 4 number 1 seeds are going to be incredibly stacked. Like, I blame them for that. I don't blame them for being like, oh my God, I'm a little worried that all of these great players who were on, mid-major teams last year are now dominating in the Power 5. It'd be nice if they were still on mid-majors having upsets. I don't blame them for being that way. I just blame them for being incredibly loud and very uneducated in that regard. I think there needs to be a concern of what's happening to the mid-majors. And I do think that when the NCAAs, whenever they make these guardrails, I have no idea when they will do it, but when they make these guardrails, I hope they have this in mind of, hey, we need to do things in order to do a better job in keeping continuity within the mid-majors.
They won't.
But
they won't.
I hope. But I mean, here's the nutshell.
They won't. College football is the Power 2, right?
Yeah.
What is college basketball?
It's second. It's on the back of the mind.
Moving forward, the Cinderella will have, and I hate the word Cinderella, the underdog that pulls off an upset that goes, whoa, will have more meaning moving forward. It's a 1-year thing. And Cinderellas are rare, not the norm. We got spoiled with a Final Four that had a couple of outliers. But the sport is not dying. Okay, it's not going to be the death of the sport.
I'm sure the Alamo Dome will still be sold out.
Now, will it hurt people being invested in a program like Omaha because of not able to have the continuity? It could if the roster is just changing every year.
I don't think it's a nothing burger. I definitely don't think it's zero. I definitely don't think it's not cause for any concern. I think it's cause for a little bit of concern. I think you can look around and maybe be a little bit hasty in the fact that for the first time in a very long time, no 1s, 2s, 3s, or 4s lost in the first round. Now, like I said,
really good.
The landscape, we've known this for a while. We've known that the top 4 seeds are going to be great in the tournament for a while. And so I'm not calling it the death of college basketball either. At the same time, I'm not throwing it to the side and being like, hey, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I still think there are things to worry about. But like this tournament in a nutshell, and just people who may not, who just can never be pleased being too loud, comes down to this. All we heard was there haven't been any upsets. There haven't been any upsets. There's not a Cinderella. And then we also heard, oh my God, there's been no buzzer beaters. We haven't had any buzzer beaters. We need a buzzer beater. So then what happens? Derek Queen marches down the court with like less than 4 seconds, or,
I can't believe people
gets the
thought
ball
they call it.
off that out of bounds. He makes a buzzer beater. The first go ahead, you were already losing. You made the shot to go ahead and win the game buzzer beater since Loyola Chicago did it against Miami. It's been forever since a shot like that happened. And then what was the reaction? Oh, that was a travel. Immediately. People try and start being negative. And then he shot it against the wrong team.
To be miserable.
They rather Colorado State have made the shot than Maryland make the shot. So Colorado State could be the Cinderella. Like, no one can be happy. The one thing everybody asked for.
That line
the one thing everybody asked for. Nobody can be happy.
That's why people hate the media. Because the media like to be miserable.
Yes.
And then they portray it out there when there are so many other good things about the sport to tell the story. You know what? I thought one of the best games, and it wasn't a buzzer beater, was UConn, Florida.
Oh, it's great.
We don't ever talk about that. Right?
That was like an Elite Eight game.
What we do talk about?
The St. John's, Arkansas game, I thought was a great game. Poorly officiated. Everything is not a foul, thank you.
Right.
But it didn't have a buzzer beater. I thought that was a really good basketball game.
Well, Florida UConn was a great game, like a competitive game between two really, really good teams. And what did we talk about more than anything afterward? Dan Hurley crying on the sideline in the post game. Dan Hurley crying at the podium.
Oh, now we're talking about the sports information director.
Then Dan Hurley walking into the hallway telling Baylor, I hope they don't F you like they F us.
Yeah. No, Duke did that instead.
That video being recorded, and then now the guy who recorded the video got threatened by the sports. And that's all we're talking about now. We're not talking about the fact that Walter Clayton Jr. is a walking closer and put on one of the best performances I've seen in a while.
Jesse. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, Jesse. I almost said good morning, Jesse. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning to yourself.
Yes. Great conversation.
Thank you.
A lot of great points. The one, Gary, you touched on it real quick in passing. How basically what's happening now is you're coming back to the norm as far as these upsets and Cinderellas go. You know, growing up, I'm in my mid-40s, so growing up, you know, when a 11 or a 12 did upset somebody, it was a big deal. It wasn't like something you expected, and that's what made it awesome. And I think if there's a positive in all of this, like you said, yeah, these upsets are going to be rare, and they are going to mean more, and that's fun. I mean, I remember Bryce Drew, and that's fine. But, like, my biggest memories are the Fab Five and Chris Webber calling timeout and
UNLV
Duke versus Kentucky, Mashburn and Leitner. Like, those are my and those are marquee matchups. To me, the greatest Cinderella run, the most fun run, was that 97 Arizona team. Like, and that was only, what was that, a 4 seed? But they were still a Cinderella, and it was still fun to watch. So, no, I don't think it's going to die. I will say that NIL is changing it, and if somebody with common sense, I know the NCAA is going to put in guardrails, but if somebody with common sense did want to just put the kibosh on it, all you got to do is go back to the textbook dictionary definition of what NIL is. Now, here's the deal. NIL means you, as an individual player, are allowed to go get an agent if you want and negotiate your own deals, but none of that money can come from a university or a collective. That is what true NIL is. What Caitlin Clark, what Juju did, that's NIL. This crap about we're all donating to the 1890 whatever, and then everybody gets a cut, that's not NIL. And I just want somebody to step forward and admit that. That's just, and I wish they would. One last thing, I'm taking an issue with Tom Chattel. The day after UNO gets bounced, he writes a wonderful article about an inspirational team and how it doesn't have to end here. And he's right. It doesn't. The day after Creighton gets bounced,
I knew you were going.
He writes an article, says, "Oh, this could be the end." What? Like, did they not start a true freshman and a true sophomore who were integral pieces to this team and who are not going anywhere, by the way, because of their culture and heritage and loyalty to Mac and this program? Come on, Tom, be better.
Yeah, Jesse, he got some internal pushback.
I was like, "Well, the great Mac is he's not going anywhere."
The headline was a little bit misleading, but there were enough people inside of the Creighton basketball program that were like, "Whoa, hold on here a minute." NIL, great for players, bad for the sport. There you go. Put that on the tab right there.
I don't fully agree with that. I don't. I think that it's. When you have the top has gotten better, the teams have gotten better, and I know that. And I'm just talking from a football perspective, right? Like,
great for the players, bad for the sport.
I think it's when you have these top matchups, when you have these loaded teams, and they were already loaded teams, and then you're adding in this other drama, and then you're adding in the fact that these transfers are coming here and coming. I'm just talking about football. I think for football, it's been really good, and I think for football with the transfer portal and the NIL, it has given more teams more money and more resources to go and compete and go and get other national players and other guys that they might not have had an opportunity to get because they didn't have their tradition of, recency or whatever it may be. I think for football, NIL has been really good. It's made more teams be able to compete, more teams be able to get to the top. It's created a little bit more parity, okay? But you still have really good football being played at the top of that. I don't know if it's good for college basketball. I don't think I'll probably agree with you in that regard, that NIL has been good for the players of college basketball, not good for the teams. In football, I think it's given more teams the ability to compete, and I think that's good for the sport.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Sam McEwen's going to join us before the hour is over. Brian Christopherson as well. In Lincoln today, it's day 2 of spring ball. Matt Rule speaks, and it's pro day. The guys that performed at the Combine will just hang out. But will Tommy Hill run? See what Sam, if he has any insight on that.